Black breakfast. You don't know what it is? You ain't never had one. Don't talk about it unless you had one before. You ain't never had one. You don't know what it is. Push that like button. Show me some love. As the day, as the world turns and the day go by, the day passes by. Every day we learn something new. Some of us get smarter. Some of us get dumber. Some of us become wiser. Some of us become more, intrigued with life. A lot of us become more applauded. Like, are you applauded with life? I'm applauded with life. And a lot of things that I see that goes on in it, I'll be applauded. Am I the only one? Y'all don't understand. If y'all can't relate to real content, you gotta be a real down-to-earth person to understand what you's about to watch and see right now. Are y'all with me? Are y'all against me? Push that like button. What's up, Sector? How you doing? Good morning, sir. We finna eat a black breakfast. We're gonna go to work. We're gonna talk and chop it up for a second. What's the deal? What's the deal, man? How you doing, dude?
I don't want to shake your hand.
You doing? Bless, man. You can have a seat. I'll be with you in a minute. Traffic was messed up?
Nah, man. I live right down.
Right down
Off
the street?
395.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna smoke my cigarette. Go ahead and eat.
No, you good. You good. You got a Newport?
Fucking non-menthol.
No, I don't want that one.
I know.
They killing me, yo.
Man, I've been smoking them so long now the menthol don't taste right.
I feel you. Man. How y'all doing? Push that like button. Mm-hmm. Look at him. This is a black breakfast. Have you ever had a black breakfast before? See, black folk, to make this a black breakfast, let me show you. Black folk, what is the one main ingredient that black people use to make their food soul food? Hey, incognita. There go my baby girl. Can anybody share that one ingredient? I'ma share it with you. Lowry's. If you ain't got no Lowry seasoning salt, it ain't black soul food. Real soul food. That down south southern soul food. We ain't even got no Lowry steak houses, but we know about Lowry seasoning salt. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Change the game. You turn a regular potato into a southern baked potato. Mm. Just with the seasoning salt. You said stolen food. What's up, man? Mm. But you know what really make this a black breakfast? This right here. Mm. Look at that. Look at that. You see that? Tell me what you see in this. Mm. Oh my God. This soul food heaven right here. Oh my God, look at that. Mm. Mm. Now that's what you call a pancake. Do you see how thick that one pancake is? That pancake is thick as the fork. One pancake is thick as the whole fork. Boy, y'all don't know nothing about good old country folk eating, man. How y'all doing? Strawberry cake. Said red velvet. All right. For everybody that's in the feed right now, I want to talk about some things that a lot of black people don't like talking about. The reason why most of these black men is lost in America is because they do not have a real father figure example to lead off of, to go off of. They ain't got no perception of what a real father is, how to be a father, you know what I mean? You said there ain't no rule books to being a father. I don't believe it's a rule book to being a father. I think in order to be a father, you just gotta be a father. Some fathers ain't got a lot of money, ain't got a lot of education, but they can still play a major impact on a child's life by just being present in their life, right? Because that child can use their father as an example of what not to grow up to be like. And just because the father broke, don't mean the child gonna grow up to be broke. You know what I mean? It's like it's just like some people in life, man. They try to compare other people's lives to be like theirs. You know what I mean? And you cannot compare nobody else's life to yours unless you and that person was raised side by side together for the first 20 years. And if any time in between them first 20 years y'all have any type of separation gap, you and that person will never be the same. Sometimes sticking in a family unit is a good thing. Sometimes it's a bad thing. It's really being overprotective. It's a good thing for men to be in an overprotective family because men need to learn how to control themselves in a mature manner where they'll be able to, be productive in society. A lot of men don't reach puberty beyond, you still going through your puberty stages. You know, you don't reach maturity until they get into their early 40s, late 40s. See, maturity is a lot different from, you know, adolescent, mindset. Because when you mature, you get wiser. How you doing? Push that like button. Do you see this black breakfast I'm eating right here? In the name of Jesus, the Heavenly Father, the Son, and the Spirit. This is a no meat breakfast. Well, you can't say it ain't no meat when I'm eating on eggs, because eggs is meat. Yeah, that's an embryo. It ain't fully developed, but once you put heat on it, it develops. Mm, so it is. How you doing? Nah, bro. This ain't stolen food. This is credit food. I mean, I swipe my credit card to buy this meal. Times are getting hard. When you gotta swipe a credit card to buy dinner, times are getting hard. Hmm. Push that like button. You know, I'm like one out of 95 black men that served over 17 years in his life incarcerated, got out of prison and got a credit card. Like, got his, just a credit card. Like, that's kind of rare. They said, my expectations to make it was never. I was, I've been how do you say? I've been succeeding against all odds ever since I've been out of prison. Mm, this is too good to be true. You know what I'm talking about? How you doing? Thanks for the free comedy show last night. Thank you. What's up, Champion 26? I said I was gonna do it again, man. If I can get some people to, you know, say they want to see me do it again. I ain't gonna say the same thing I said that time. I'm gonna say something else. But you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna surprise y'all. See, that would have been a lot different if I had about 2 or 3 people in the crowd sitting in the chairs. I was sitting there. That was imagination, just having fun. I be smoking some good shit. I be telling y'all that. You know you smoking on some good shit when you smoke a blunt, and then all of a sudden you come up with this brilliant idea to have a comedy show with nothing but empty chairs, and you get like 500 people to come in and watch that shit. Like, that was that's some good shit I be smoking. But I did have about 500 people. That's crazy. And then that's another thing. See, I need to figure out a way to put my phone on a jumbotron so I can read the comments. I think I can, cause I got an iPhone. I think I can. I can Apple Play that shit to one of my extra TVs. I don't know. It's different when you ain't got nobody holding the camera for you. You got to do it yourself. Man, these goddamn strawberry pancakes with that goddamn ready whip on top. Oh my God. I don't like to eat syrup on my pancakes. I like to eat fruit. Buy a stand, brother. What kind of stand? Like a tripod or something? Man, I got stands. I got tripods. I got lights. I got cameras. I got everything but the people to hold them motherfuckers. It's just a matter of time, man. What? I'm gonna find me a midget to be my cameraman. Everywhere I go, you gonna see that little midget holding the camera. Wherever I go, they gonna be just recording me for no apparent reason. That's what I need. I need a little short person. They ain't gotta be midget, just a short person. They gotta be shorter than 4 feet to qualify for that position. And I really want them shorter than 3.5 feet. You know, it's like the small angle. When you shoot it from a low angle, you get better views on it. You know what I mean? And I just figure like if I can get a little person that about 3.5 feet, maybe right at 3 feet tall, hold my camera and be my cameraman everywhere we go, we gonna get a lot of attention because they gonna be looking at the little person recording me all the time. I don't know, man. Have you ever thought about being in a relationship with a little person? I've seen a lot of cute little persons. Like I would be like, "Ooh, she cute," but her body too small. I don't think my dick could fit. Like, and I ain't got time to be sitting there trying to pressure a woman that situation ain't working out. What you mean you love me? Well, we can't have sex. That mean I can't, I can't be, in love with you. And I love a lot of people. There's some homeless people on the streets that I love there, but I ain't in love with them. I can't be with them. Like hell no. But big girls and little men. Unless the big woman doing all the energy, using all the energy, and that's kind of hard to find. You can't find no big woman with a lot of energy. It ain't gonna work. Like I can't do it. I'll be wondering how them skinny ass, tall, skinny niggas be tearing up them big girls like that. I tried it one time and I was getting paid for it and I still couldn't do it. I was like, God damn, that was a lot of energy. It took me 2 weeks to get my damn energy back. I'm fucked up because I ain't called that girl since I left. Now she feeling some type of way. That little nigga came over here and tore my ass up. And then he changed the goddamn number. What the kind of shit is that? Shit, I had to change my number. That big motherfucker had a pistol. Yeah, man, I don't know how you feel, man. You get over to a woman's house, you throw her big ass on the bed. You gotta throw the pillows off the bed 'cause ain't that much room left when you throw her up there. I throw the pillows off the bed and she had two big ass 45s under the pillow. She had two 45s. I'm like, God damn. Oh, I forgot about those. Just as long as you didn't plan on grabbing one of them motherfuckers, shoot my ass. But boy, that's some hard work, boy. You go in there to do a job and you in there at gunpoint. Boy, you got to be at your best behavior. I tore her ass up, though. That's some fucked up shit. For real. Yeah, I took one of them hymns, tore her ass up. I come through the door ready, man. That's why my services cost so much. Well, they ain't expensive to a woman that got it. It's Christmas time. Prices done went up. It's 1,500 for 15 minutes now. Shit. You'd be surprised what a nigga gotta go through for them 15 minutes, boy. Boy, just imagine. Just imagine. You had to go on a job and press 350 pounds for 15 minutes straight, flipping and pulling and you only like 110 pounds soaking wet. But you can hit 350. Like, I can throw 350 like it ain't shit. But damn, that's a lot of energy. I was so tired at the end of that night. I was tired as hell. And I was scared. I was respectable. I was respectful to her all the way till I bagged my way to the front door. I was like, yes, ma'am. You have a good time. You want me to come back again, ma'am? She like, yeah. When you coming back? You come back, I'm gonna suck your dick. I was like, for real, ma'am? Okay. Well, when I got out that damn front door, and got to my little bitty ass car and got in that motherfucker, I skied the fuck off. I damn near tore my clutch up trying to get out that motherfucker. I was scared as hell. I'd never go back and do it again. Hell no. That's bad for me, man. That's bad for me. You know, I'm solid. I'm a solid 140, man. Like soaking wet. I'm 140. I can throw 300 pounds. And she was a little bit over. She about 350, 375. She might have been 4. But them goddamn head and shoulder pictures fucked me up on social media. I'm thinking she was about 200. Shit, I got over there. She was twice that. I wanted to double up on the price on her, but when I seen them 2 pistols, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna be grateful for what I get for this big motherfucker. I'm cool. I'm cool. But I don't want her money no more. See, some people like that, man, they money ain't good enough. Like, that lady can offer me $3,000. I still wouldn't come back. No, I'm cool. I'm cool. And she been hitting me all kind of ways. How you doing? Push that like button. 3 jizzles. Yeah. I had a girl. She been blowing me up for the last 2 weeks. I hit her about 3 weeks ago. And the next day, after I hit her, I got that damn itch. Like, you know, that 3-day bug. I started taking my, my vitamins and shit. And I scratched that motherfucker out. But I got a motto. If I have sex with any woman and I get sick within the first 3 days after fucking them, I ain't fucking with them no more. And as soon as I got home the next morning, my throat was, I'm like, oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. And she wondered why I won't text her ass back. Like, hell no, you got me sick, bitch. I am not fucking with you. And I feel like, them vaccinated women, if you a man that ain't been vaccinated, you shouldn't be fucking with a woman that get vaccinated. Because them vaccinations, man, they gonna get you sick. I'm for real. I remember one time I had to ask this girl, 'cause I went down on that bitch, ate her pussy, and the next morning I had an itch in my throat, and I asked her, I said, you been vaccinated? She was like, yeah, I only got it one time. You'll never get it again from me, bitch. Hell no. I had to go into defense mode, take all kind of vitamin C's and shit. I ain't worried about COVID, man. I done had COVID about 7, 8 times, shit. Every time I get it, hell, I shit that motherfucker out. For real. If you ain't shitting within 3 days, you ain't shitting it out. But you get that itch, take them vitamins and load up on a whole bunch of fruits and shit. Then on the second day, third day, you should have shits like a motherfucker. You should be shitting it out. I don't know about y'all. That's the way I do it. I shit it out every time. 4th day, I feel good in the motherfucker. But I know I done had COVID at least 12 times. At least 12 times. You can't help but to get it. Half of these bitches, they be sick. They be trying to pass that shit to you. You said, your face is similar to my neighbor. Skin color, speaking style, height. Only difference is the hair. He ain't got none. He bald-headed on top. Oh, yeah. Yeah. All this is mine. I got all my baby edges. I donate baby edges to women. Yeah. Like, I'm going to have a donation bundle in a minute. Like, any woman that needs some donated baby edges, when I get my hair redone in about a day, when the lady take my hair down, all that extra, I got a whole bunch of new growth that come out, and I trim it up, and I sell it to women online. Mr. Snagger puts baby edges. You can buy them and glue them on your sides, and they last for you for a long time. Please support my products. Like, a lot of niggas ain't got products like this, but these are authentic, and they healthy. They it's real health. Like, you can't say this shit. This that Indian shit. Like, yeah, donate. That's all I ask. Buy some of my baby edges. Hell, I went to jail trying to sell sand online. I had went and found some white sand, and I put it in some vials. And I said, I got some sand from the Holy Land. I just came back from Egypt. white folks don't go online and do some indigenous research. They bought some from me and had it tested. Come to find out, the sand came from Gulfport, Mississippi, right after Hurricane Katrina. And they was like, this black man, he frauding people, telling them he's selling holy sand from the Holy Land. And it's anointed by the word of God. I didn't say all that. My actors did when we were shooting the videos, they were saying all that shit. For real. I remember I had a preacher came to me with an idea, said, Snag, you ought to sell the Bloody Jesus prayer rag. I said, huh? You ought to sell the Bloody Jesus prayer rag. Man, I ain't finna sell the dirty. I don't think I can say that, man. I don't even think I can get on stage and say some shit like that. And they ended up doing it. I know y'all seen the Bloody Jesus prayer rag commercial, like, yeah. You know where they found Jesus' tomb or Jesus' body and got his blood from it. It was a bloody rag they were selling. You said, what did I do with those 36 ounces I was talking about? What you mean? I consumed all 36 ounces.
Got a bathroom here?
Yeah, I went back to the right, bro. All right, y'all. Y'all know what time it is. The world is going on. The world is spinning, and half of y'all don't even know what the hell going on in it.
In northern Gaza, at least 17 Palestinians were killed Monday when Israel's military bombed a home near the hospital in Beit Lahia. The dead were members of the family of Dr. Hani Badran, one of the few remaining
This
medical
video
workers that come
is
out of
sponsored
Al-Aqsa
by
Hospital. Video
Hims.
shows hospital director
Ladies,
Dr. Hussam
if you want your
Abu
man to
who
last
lost his
longer,
own son to an Israeli
be
airstrike
stronger,
last month,
and be a
comforting
little
Dr.
bit
Badran
longer,
after delivering
get
the
your
news.
man some
The hospital
Hims
since come
for
under fresh
Christmas.
attacks by
And
Israeli
for
forces who
Christmas,
shelled and fired
your
on the
Santa
building,
Claus will be
including right
Hims.
outside Dr. Abu
Yeah.
Safia's office.
Might feel like 2 or 3
Dr.
men
Abu
going at you at the
Safia
same time,
reports
because
wounded
that's how big and
patients are
strong he
dying
is.
daily
But
due to a
get
severe
you some
lack of doctors and
Hims,
medical supplies.
and you guaranteed to be
Elsewhere, an
happy
Israeli
this
airstrike
holiday
in Hassan
season.
Casa City
All
Monday
right.
killed 7
Now we done
Palestinians and
talked about our
wounded 10
sponsors.
others. Survivors
Y'all watch
said
the rest of the
strike
news for the
came
small
without
chronic little news
warning.
break real quick. Get y'all some
We were at
Hims.
home
Yeah.
having breakfast. I went out and suddenly heard the sound of a bombing. I returned back thinking it was another house that was hit. I saw the whole house was damaged. I started searching and discovered all of the murderers were kids. All of those who were at home
That's
were
fucked up.
elderly, children,
That
and
is
infants.
fucked up. That's just super fun. I cannot watch this. I cannot watch innocent children just die on national TV. That sun feel good, huh? You got light? But last two motherfuckers left.
Where you buying them at?
Down a little smoke shop. But I got a good connection on them. I'm waiting on some right now.
Oh, okay.
Trying my hardest to hold on, man. What I
Cause I know they sell them over there off the 395 with the little chevron.
for like
Them is-
$20 a pack.
Probably.
Yeah,
It's fucking.
they tax it.
Yeah, they tax it for sure.
I get a whole cart for about $70.
Yeah, that's good. You get them from out of state.
No, I get somebody to go to the military, what they call it. I got some soldiers that work down there in Fort Irwin.
Yeah. My
And they
step
go
pops used to be out there.
and they go to the commissary for me, and they get them like it's like $69 a carton.
Yeah.
It's fucked up, you know. They sell cigarettes to the military,
Yep.
but you can't get them
On the low
motherfuckers.
too.
For real.
Off. Yeah, shit. I was born out here. My step pops used to be stationed out there.
Yeah.
In Fort Irwin, I used to be down there, barracks when I was a kid.
Pretty cool out there.
I ain't been out there in years though.
Yeah. They done built that shit up.
I ain't been out there forever. 25 years probably.
Yeah, I remember when Newports used to be $2 a pack.
Yeah, I think when I started smoking, it was like 5.
Like 5? 4?
Like 09.
I'm talking about like
Yeah.
89, 90,
I know.
91.
I know you ordered me for sure.
Them motherfuckers was like, for real, them motherfuckers, they had in Newports, they used to sell the half a pack, 10 pack. Only cigarettes they ever broke down and sold a half a pack for $1.
Wow.
$10 to get 10 for $1.
Wow, that's crazy. You used to pay what? 35 cents for a single? Newport?
Yep.
Now high school?
Now I charge $2 a single.
Yeah.
Donation. I don't charge shit. You want a cigarette from me, you gotta donate me $2 on my next pack.
$40 a pack.
But think about it though. Easy. No problem. Niggas would buy singles, then hey man, I got a whole pack for $20. They'll come buy singles. They'll single themselves to death before they buy a whole pack. Oh, I don't need a whole pack. Okay. Shit, okay. They really spend $60 coming back and forth in gas. You know what I mean? Yeah, man. When you ever thought the day that a pack of Newports you can make about $60 shit. In Vegas, I make $100 off a pack, $5 a single on the strip. I walk around with a pack of Marlboro, pack of Newports in my pocket. Everybody walk up, hey man, you got a cigarette? Yeah, $5. $5 one. Yeah. Give me one of them goddamn chips, $5. For real, $5 a single all day. I make Lucy hustle all day, just walking the strip, $5 a single.
Nah, that's a cool little hustle. Come up real quick.
For real. When I was in LA, nigga, I used to wake up early in the mornings and stand in front of the GR building, nigga, with a whole carton, sell singles for $1.
Wow.
Make a whole $100. I sell every one of them motherfuckers, a whole carton every morning, early in the morning, $1 single. Yeah. That's when I was getting them motherfuckers for like $50, $60, $40 a damn carton.
Yeah.
Selling the shit out the motherfucker.
Oh, yeah. I ain't never thought of that, though. You know, a little hustle like that.
For real. Sometimes you just gotta, you gotta think of a way to make just $1, man, and be satisfied with that. Motherfucker strike, I used to go out to the county building. I used to sell at least like 2 cartons every day. Yeah. By 11 o'clock, I'd have dumped 2 cartons, just walking back and forth through the line. You know what I mean? Yeah. Shit, $1 single. I used to do that shit every other morning. Y'all was out there striking. DVDs, CDs, and Lucy's, nigga. You know what I mean? I was selling CDs, DVDs, 5 for 20, nigga. Like, motherfucker was loading up on them motherfuckers.
Yeah, nah, that sound feel good, too. Cold than a motherfucker.
For real. Oh, ugly ass Bronco.
Baby Bronco, nigga. Fucked up with that.
For real. The concept, they had a concept that looked good as fuck. Yeah.
Big.
Yeah, it looked like the Tahoe. It was funky. They came out with that shit. Fuck their head up. Let's roll, man. Let me knock you down.
You like that? Wait till I pull up in my other shit. You gonna be
Yeah.
Trump's nominee for Attorney General Matt Gaetz paid them for sex has revealed new details about their testimony to the House Ethics Committee. The lawyer, Joel Leppard, on Monday told CNN...
No, I'm waiting on it to come in the mail right now, bro.
Gaetz having sex with a minor.
I got you.
Invited to a party in July of 2017. She testified to the House that as she was walking out to the pool area, she turned to her right and she witnessed her client, her friend,
No,
having sex
her
with
client.
Gates, and her friend at that time was 17.
Attorney Leopard has called on the House Ethics Committee to release its report on Gates, who resigned from Congress last week, even as President Trump tapped him to lead the Department of Justice. So
I just
far,
wanna get a
Republican
poll
House
lineup,
Speaker
really, and then I'll
Mike
get that
Johnson
shit
has refused
cut
calls
next
to
week.
release the report on Gates. Donald Trump confirmed Monday he plans to declare a national emergency and deploy the military to enact mass deportations when he returns to office. The ACLU has filed a lawsuit against Immigration and Customs Enforcement seeking more information on Trump's plans, including ICE's use of privately chartered flights. The ACLU's director warned of an unprecedented attack on immigrants, writing, quote, as we ready litigation and create firewalls for freedom across blue states, we must also sound the alarm that what's on the horizon will change the very nature of American life for tens of millions of Americans, unquote. The FBI is investigating what appears to be a new campaign of abusive text messages, this time targeting Latinx and LGBTQ people. Some recipients received messages telling them they were selected for deportation. Other messages said recipients should report to a re-education camp. This comes on the heels of a text message campaign targeting Black people in the wake of Trump's election victory, in which recipients were told to report to plantations for slavery.
Wow.
On Capitol Hill, House Republicans are considering spending caps and new work requirements for recipients of Medicaid, SNAP, nutrition assistance, and other social programs. That's according to the Washington Post, which reports the changes would impact at least 70 million low-income people. The proposed cuts come after Trump promised to slash the corporate tax rate from 21% to 15%. An annual tax cut worth $48 billion to the 100 largest U.S. corporations. Here in Azerbaijan, the UN COP29 Climate Summit has entered its final stretch with negotiators from nearly 200 nations still far apart on a new climate finance commitment. One major source of debate is a proposed UN-backed carbon market, which proponents say could help offset an extra 5 billion metric tons of carbon emissions annually. Opponents say carbon markets allow major polluters to greenwash their emissions while devastating the environment and frontline communities. This is Ariel Deranger, Director of Indigenous Climate Action.
Carbon markets are literally putting our lands and territories up for land grabs and to allow the sanctioning of multinational corporations to have a system to sort of simply buy themselves out of continuing to pollute.
A recent study in Nature Communications looked at the use of carbon credits in more than 2,000 projects. It found less than 16% of carbon credits issued constituted real emission reduction. After headlines, we'll have more on the COP29 UN Climate Summit here in Baku, Azerbaijan, speaking with Colombia's Environment Minister, Susana Mohammed. A Hong Kong court has sentenced 45 pro-democracy activists to up to 10 years in prison for their involvement in an unofficial primary election in 2020. It was the largest trial yet under the Beijing-imposed national security law. Among those convicted were prominent activists Benny Tai and Joshua Wong. This is a pro-democracy activist, Chen Poyang, whose husband, Leung Kwok-hong, received a sentence of nearly 7 years.
Actually, the situation is quite clear. All these people are peaceful. They have always only called for people to vote, which is the most peaceful and legal method. It's shocking that the court has given such harsh sentences.
And in New Zealand, 42,000 people gathered in front of the Parliament building in Wellington earlier today after taking part in a historic march to oppose a bill that would roll back Indigenous Maori rights established in the Treaty of Waitangi, considered New Zealand's founding document. This is one of the protesters.
We're not giving away what we're taking away from us, you know, what we have in our culture and in our people, you know.
And those are some of the headlines. This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, the War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman. This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, the War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman in New York, joined by Democracy Now! Co-host Juan Gonzalez in Chicago. Hi, Juan.
Hi, Amy, and welcome to all our listeners and viewers across the country and around the world.
Well, we begin today's show with the legendary Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist Seymour Hersh. In 1970, he won the prize for his reporting for the Dispatch news service on the My Lai massacre, when the U.S. slaughtered more than 500 Vietnamese women, children, and old men on March 16, 1968. His reporting in the New York Times on CIA spying on anti-war activists during the Vietnam War era helped lead to the formation of the Church Committee, which led to major reforms of the intelligence community. In 2004, in the pages of the New Yorker magazine, Cy Hersh exposed the Abu Ghraib prisoner abuse scandal in Iran. Well, last week, he published another bombshell report, but this time on his new Substack page. The piece was headlined, How America Took Out the Nord Stream Pipeline. It looks at one of the great mysteries of the past year. Who is behind the bombing of the Nord Stream pipelines, which were built to carry natural gas from Russia to Europe? The pipelines were severely damaged last September in a series of underwater explosions in the Baltic Sea. In his new piece, Cy Hersh cites an unnamed source who says the sabotage was carried out by the U.S. Navy, which planted remotely triggered explosives during NATO exercises last September. Hersh reports the Biden administration began planning the act of sabotage in December 2021 invasion of Ukraine. On February 7, 2022, President Biden held a joint news conference with German Chancellor Olaf Scholz, and Biden brought up the future of the Nord Stream pipeline.
That means tanks and troops crossing the border of Ukraine again. Then there will be no longer a Nord Stream 2. We will really end it.
But how will you do that? Exactly. Since the project and control of the project is within Germany's control.
We will, I promise you we'll be able to do it.
I'll promise you we'll be able to do that. Well, Cy Hersh reports U.S. Navy divers planted remotely triggered explosives on the pipelines in June while NATO was conducting military exercises in the area. He reports the divers were all members of the Navy and not members of America's Special Operations Command, whose covert operations must be reported to Congress. Then, on September 25th, 2022, a Norwegian surveillance plane dropped a sonar buoy, which triggered the seafloor explosives that had been placed on the pipeline. Soon after the explosion, the United States strongly suggested Russia was behind blowing up its own pipeline. This is National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan responding to a question at a White House press briefing.
In the speech this morning, the president called the Nord Stream pipeline attacks, quote, a deliberate act of sabotage, and said now the Russians are pumping out misinformation and lies about it. Do you take that to mean that the U.S. now believes that Russia was likely responsible for this act of sabotage?
Well, first, Russia has done what it frequently does when it is responsible for something, which is make accusations that it's really someone else who did it. We've seen this repeatedly over time. The president was also clear today that there is more work to do on the investigation before the United States government is prepared to make an attribution in this case.
In the following months, there have been few public disclosures about the pipeline explosion. In December, the New York Times reported Russia had begun expensive repairs on the pipelines, a move which has raised questions about Western claims that Russia had bombed its own pipelines. Meanwhile, some Biden officials have publicly praised the fact that the pipeline was blown up. This is Undersecretary of State for Political Affairs, Victoria Nuland, speaking during a recent Senate Foreign Relations Committee hearing.
I am, at the administration, is very gratified to know that Nord Stream 2 is now, as you like to say, a hunk of metal at the bottom of the sea.
We're joined now by Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist Seymour Hersh to talk more about this new piece, how America took out the Nord Stream pipeline. Well, the White House has described Hersh's reporting as, quote, complete fiction. Calls are growing for an independent probe into the explosion. Senator Hersh, welcome back to Democracy Now! If you can flesh out what it is you found in your report, and what first tipped you off, albeit there were a lot of public comments, including the Polish government right after the bombing, saying, thank you, America. Lay it out for us.
First of all, I think the reporting really can be described as a friend of mine did. What I did was really deconstruct the obvious. You have to hear what the president said. But of course, there were secret plans that I'm writing about. And they include, there was a committee set up, Dick Sullivan was directly involved. He was the national security advisor, still is. They set up a team to look at options about how to put pressure on the Russian government to back off. I'm getting a bounce in my ears, so this is comical. Can you hear me?
We hear you perfectly. We don't hear the bounce side.
Oh, okay, that's great. I hear so. Anyway, and so I'm just writing about inside baseball stuff. It's the normal things you do. Is they set up a committee to think of options. Russia was clearly going to go. The threat the president had yet to make had not been made, and this was December before New Year's Day of the year before, 2021. And the question inside the committee included the usual CIA, NSA, Treasury Department, State Department, you name it, and they met in the secret office building in across the street from the White House, the executive office building. The option was, do you want us to do something kinetic or something not kinetic? In other words, not kinetic would be more sanctions, and something kinetic would be, taking out the pipelines, as had been thought about. And an answer came pretty quickly. I would guess Victoria Nuland's statement that you mentioned came actually before the presidency. It came in late January of last year. And that statement came, at that time, I think the committee involved, a lot of sophisticated people in the intelligence and operation community, concluded you could do it, and the White House was told it was possible. I think that led to the comment was really important, made the people on the inside go half crazy because it's supposed to be completely covert. But at that point, as I wrote, it was simply described as a classified operation. None of the rules of reporting to Congress were involved. And so they began their planning. They went to Norway, which is a great ally of ours. Norway was one of the original signers of the 1949 NATO treaty. I think 19 nations were involved in. And Norway is a great ally. We have spent, I write about this in some detail in the article, hundreds of millions, probably more to go through, there's a billion or more upgrading facilities. Norway has a 1,400-mile border along the Atlantic coast. It goes from Oslo in Europe all the way up north it runs into the Russian border above the Arctic Circle. So we put a lot of facilities up north there. Synthetic aperture radar, which costs a fortune to monitor the Russian nuclear sites around, and also their military activities around there up in the other side of the peninsula, the Kola Peninsula. So it's just, they're just our guys, and they're also great at doing underwater stuff. And so that's what happened. We did a plan with them. We had to clear it with Sweden and Denmark. I'll leave it to them to decide whether that they accepted the explanation we were doing exercises in the Baltic Sea for the hell of it. but so far I haven't seen much from either of them. Um, and you know, it's a tiresome game to me. And so what happens is when I do my story on Substack, I wouldn't even think. I'm embarrassed to say that after all those wonderful years I had at the New York Times, I wouldn't even think you'd take a story like this in the New York Times. They decided that the Ukraine war is going to be won by Ukraine, and that's where the leaders get, and that's so be it. That's their call. I just did my reporting, and the miners came from a boarding facility in a little small town in Florida. And the mining community in the Navy is very secret, and they just do their business. They don't talk. There was perfect people to get, and they practiced it. And as you said, there was a major exercise every summer by the Sixth Fleet, which is American Sixth Fleet on the Italy, which controls also has the operational rights of the Baltic Sea. Baltic Sea is a huge place. The pipelines we're talking about, Nord Stream 1, which came alive in 2011, and Nord Stream 2 was actually done, but the Germans that are ready to pump has 750 miles. And they go straight from Russia, which is loaded with all kinds of gas. In Siberia, they have enormous reserves, directly into Germany. And I can tell you, Nord Stream 1 was a godsend for the German economy and Western Europe. They produced so much gas at such low prices that the German government was actually able to resell some of the gas the Russians were providing at a profit without Russia objecting. And so German economy is huge, it's booming. You know, the cars we know about, Germany has the largest chemical company in the world, BASF, and everybody's right now, it's hell to pay. It's gotten very cold there. There's a lot of anger. And anyway, the purpose.
I heard, so I wanted to ask you, in terms of the lack of it always seemed to me when the claims were that potentially Russia had sabotaged its own pipeline, that it was ludicrous to think that that would be so, that they would invest so much money in pipelines and then bomb them themselves. But I'm interested in the lack of press attention since the sabotage occurred, and also the lack of congressional attention. I think back to the CIA's mining of the Managua harbors back in the early 1980s under the Reagan administration, when the conservative Republican head of the Senate Intelligence Committee, Barry Goldwater, objected and raised concerns that this was a covert operation where Congress was not notified. And then, of course, Congress cut off aid to the Contras. As a result, there was an International Court of Justice ruling against the United States. But in this case, this kind of sabotage, the media seems not to be at all interested in finding out what happened here, as you have, and Congress, there's no one in Congress that's been raising questions.
You listen to the newscast that we just heard as the show opened, one foremost thing after another. I think the world's taken a very bizarre turn. I also, it doesn't matter what I think. There's no question there's been a polarization of the press since Trump got in. We're now on two sides, right, left, Democrat, Republican, however you describe it. If you watch Fox News, you don't watch MSNBC, et cetera, et cetera. And if you read the New York Times, you're not going to get what the right wing, the conservatives have it after the New York Times and Washington Post, where they're quote unquote liberal views. So it's got a polarization going. And at this time, we've got a Democratic president, that has done some good stuff domestically, but I can tell you, I'm not understanding the total commitment to Ukraine. And I'm not understanding what I read, because obviously I have access to a lot of people who see things. I've been doing this, Amy, and I've been doing this, writing about COVID activities for, I don't know, 300 years. Anyway, the bottom line is, the stories I've been getting about the war, particularly beginning in fall, and that's what gets interesting, have been pretty dire. The Russians, I think the end is just a question of time. Right now, it's a question of how many more people Zelensky wants to kill of his own people. It's going to be over. What happened is the plan was to put the bomb, and I can't answer your philosophical question about why Congress isn't doing anything anymore. Congress is pretty much polarized just as much. And there's also an enormous continuing hatred of all things food in this country, which is a foreign policy disagreement is one thing, but it's very personal here, and that's not useful. But anyway, the other is, I don't think there's any chance that Putin wants to take over Europe. I don't think he wants to he wants to have Ukraine tamed, but he's not interested in doing anything more. But I may be in a minority about that. Anyway, what happens is there was an exercise in June, and it was supposed to the bombs were put in there under the cover of a NATO exercise. There were a lot of different countries running around with divers and blowing up things. It was an exercise to go find and chase mines. I've never had one before. That actually was whoever in the CIA or the other agencies that thought this up should get a bow because it was pretty ingenious. So in that exercise, the divers went down, did what they were trained to do. They're very good. C4, a couple hundred, whatever the weight is, bombs enough to blow up most cities, most of the buildings in Washington, and maybe some in New York. Anyway, they did their job, but the president at the last minute hesitated because he was afraid blowing it up right after the exercise would put the finger at us, and then he wanted permission to do it anytime, and that caused an enormous trouble in the team. The team was, you know, people are sophisticated in the intelligence services. I know we have cliches about them, we see the movies about them. And the bottom line is, this made sense to them, blowing up a pipeline. Blowing up a pipeline it's actually owned by a division of Gazprom owns 51%, that's all Russian oligarchs, and 49% of Nord Stream 1 are owned by 4 business groups in Western Europe who farm out the oil anyway. They saw the threat as being valid, and if you wanted to do it during an exercise, well, okay. But in September, late September, they got the word, they fixed it so he could, but then they thought it was, I don't know what they thought, but I don't think they thought in late September he would blow up the main pipeline, Nord Stream 2, which is a new one, that had been just built. And it had been sanctioned, it had gas in it, that's why so much leaks, 750 miles of methane gas is sitting in it, but it had been sanctioned by the German government. And so when he did that, here's what Biden did. And this is what I think the ultimate point of the story, why so many people in the intelligence community are very troubled by it. What he did is he said, I'm in a big war with Ukraine. It's not looking good. I want to be sure I get German and West European support. And I know winter's coming, and if it's going to be bad, I don't want the Germans to say we got to check out because we're getting massacred. We'll be massacred with no cheap fuel, and the economy will go bonkers. We're going to check out, and we're going to open up the gas line, which they could do. So he took away that option, and what that has done, as you know, America has been talking about ever since the first pipeline, Nord Stream 1, came online in 2011, and there were years before it was being built. This goes back to the Bush-Cheney years, and as you know, I did a lot of reporting for the New Yorker on those people, on that particular gaggle. Anyway, and at that time they began to talk about the threat, the threat of gas, the threat of cheap energy for Europe, was always seen as a threat to make Europe be more palatable or more willing to trade with Russia. We always wanted to isolate Russia. This has been a theme of the last decade.
Can I ask you also that there are several people, obviously you've gotten criticism at times for many of your exposés, but there are some people who are saying that this particular expose does not have a whole lot of documentation, that it essentially relies on one source one internal source, anonymous source of yours. How do you respond to those criticisms that this is much less documented than previous exposés of yours?
I'll get to that, but let me finish my thought because it's a very important thought. The fear was Europe would pass away, walk away from the war. Now what he's done, and you have to lift it up a little bit. Now what he's done is he told Europe, you're second rate. And I think the consequences of this for the Europeans are going to be horrific. This has cut into the notion that they can depend totally on America, even in a crisis. And I think it's going to undercut NATO, which I always found to be supremely useless. But certainly the European countries are going to be. I know people that are paying 5 times as much now for electricity. People are paying 3 or 4 times more for gas. There's not enough of it. It's very expensive. It's cold enough than it was in the fall. They got a light fall because of climate change. You want to believe it or not. And anyway, I think the consequences politically for us are enormous. I think the reason that Biden and his people in the White House have denied the story and continue to deny it, and get decades by some of the press, my newspaper, the New York Times, I don't know why they're not doing more reporting on this instead of relying on a denial and walking away from the story. Even for the Washington Post. I think the consequences politically for us in the long run, looking at even potential, some countries walking out of NATO. If that's what he thinks, that our being told is less important than him keeping the war going that he's not going to win, it strikes me. As for the source question, I've been doing this so long. I'm not bothered by the fact that the government attacks me and that my own newspaper, the New York Times, hasn't written a word about it. I find it sort of, that's where we are. That's why people like me always have staff. I've had this 20 to 30 years who not only are faithful to what they're doing, but also are not afraid to be critical of it. And so that's the kind of source that reporters dream about. And I've had people like that forever, and I still do. And so there's been a lot of criticism. One of the things I will get to your point about criticism. One of the criticisms is to the open source people. OSINT, it's a very big part of the world now. There are people that monitor air traffic and boat traffic and all that, and there's some 2 or 3 different groups have produced statements saying that none of the things they see tracks with my story. And I would say about that, if you're in the intelligence community, you're reminding co-ops for years, and you're in Norway, we're working very closely with the Norwegians on this, who, by the way, have increased their production of oil to Europe by double. I don't know the exact number, but it's gone up at least double, maybe even more than that, 2.5 times as much now without the pipeline. But certainly, the first thing you look at is how to take care of open source people, make them think what happened, this isn't happening. I mean, that's so obvious to me, but not for them. And so.
Sai, I wanted to go to what Ned Price said at the State Department. Sam Husseini of the Institute for Public Accuracy questioned the State Department spokesperson about your reporting last week.
I'm sure you're aware of the new report from Seymour Hersh, how America took out the Nord Stream pipeline and the White House's denial of any involvement, given the longstanding U.S. opposition to the pipeline. Secretary Blinken's calling its demise a tremendous opportunity. And Secretary of State Nuland is saying that the U.S. officials were pleased with the construction of the pipeline, especially the Putin secretive investigation. Do you think the U.S. government's denial of involvement is credible?
I absolutely do, and I repeat it here.
Let me follow up on that, if I might. Have you or anybody else at the State Department any communication with German, Norwegian ambassadors or other allies or officials on this matter?
On the matter of Nord Stream 2?
On the matter of the latest allegations, which give a fairly, I mean,
it would not be typical for us to engage allies and partners on something that is utter and complete nonsense and that should be rejected out of hand by anyone who is looking at it through an objective lens. Yes, go ahead.
One more aspect on this. One of the allegations that Hersh makes is that it was taken off the CIA in order to prevent involvement, oversight as a covert operation. Do you agree with these?
I'm familiar with it.
One of his allegations is that it was taken off the
Rather than let this propaganda be aired in the briefing room, let me just say it is a fundamental misunderstanding of oversight in our U.S. Congress. Beyond getting his facts entirely wrong, as he has before in very high-profile ways, it is a fundamental misunderstanding to suggest that our intelligence community is not subject to oversight. anyone who writes that, anything who writes anything like that,
No,
cannot be believed on any
it was taken off of the CIA, but under military order to prevent.
Our military is also subject to rigorous oversight. Yes, the answer is yes.
So that's Ned Price being questioned by Sam Husseini in the State Department press briefing room. Cy Hirsch, I'm wondering if you can respond. You wrote an interesting follow-up today on Substack called Crap on the Wall. Now, it's not your words, actually. You're actually quoting the White House when the most bizarre effort came from Defense Department of Donald Rumsfeld, you write. 2 decades ago, Secretary Rumsfeld, Vice President Richard Cheney discarded the rule of law and common decency in their efforts to stomp out Muslim terrorism. I was writing for the New Yorker. You're talking about the Abu Ghraib scandal. The White House responded to an article I published about the CIA's secret operations, inside Iran, by calling it another example of Hirsch throwing crap, that was the word used by an Assistant Secretary of Defense, on a wall to see what sticks. Under Barack Obama, you say a senior national security advisor responded Seymour Hirsch is a known fabricator, adding the magazine, the New Yorker, could publish that response to any future Hirsch story without further checking. Your response to all of this?
Well, my long-gone mother, who came here as an immigrant and loved America more than anybody, about Ned Price's stuff, she would have said he should have washed out his mouth with soap, which is what she actually did to me a few times. So anyway, that's what can I say? It's, sometimes I won't say truth, that's true. Sometimes different versions of a story cause problems. The reason I went into that sort of soliloquy about what's going to happen possibly in NATO and Europe about Biden's act of saying to the Western Europe and Germany, we'd rather keep our war going, and you can say cold, is I think it could cause some countries to say, we may be out of here, What do we need NATO for? And American support, but in a crisis, they take away our ability to keep our people warm. It also could be, I think the Green Party has done very well in Germany. If the chancellor is out on the Green Party, I think it's going to lead to widespread conservative movement politically. And the one thing we didn't after World War II that was fantastic was we really
don't be the only one that got gas for For real, bro.
Society. I think
they done Donald Trump to pull us out of the goddamn.
The move as far as it did in Italy, we can lead to some conservative victories and some legislations. Because Europe's always had no natural resources, they've always had to rely on others. And the others included us and also
NATO.
Russian gas.
They created NATO, that's what gave Europe all their power.
Political costs. And I think
they're going to take us out of NATO.
I'm still going to do more reporting
on this.
Again.
I know he is.
Because
and we're going to line with the BRICS. We got to. But we ain't going to be able to get no gas. Saudi Arabia, all the motherfuckers over there. But it'll be a it'll be every country dealing with this country across the board. It ain't no gets an investor out of one currency, don't do shit. You know what I mean? It's a new world order. Once they eliminate the UN, they take away all the world power. The Russians have the world power. You know what I mean? They can eliminate that. All these other countries, India, Iran.
I mean, if I did, I would weep because some of the stuff is so dumb. It's just so dumb. And
China got their hand in the pot, in the pot of all of this shit. They're on both sides of the fence. Like, you know what I mean? But they agree. They want to eliminate NATO.
I know people have known personally. I find out.
Everybody wants NATO.
And sorry, you can say this. You got to go back to Tony Blinken. After the bomb in September, he made a speech in which it was a press conference in which he made a gratuitous statement. He said, one good thing is that no more will Russia be able to weaponize gas. And the notion of Russia weaponizing gas with Western Europe to get fame and to diminish our power or our authority or our economic ability, control over Western Europe has been a theme of this country for 2 decades. It's not a new thing. Oil scares the hell. Russian oil and gas always scares the hell out of Washington. Now you're
sorry, lastly, the Norwegian government has claimed that one of the ships that you mentioned in your article that was involved in the planning of this or preparation of this was not present at the time of Norway's denial.
Let me tell you something about Nicaragua if you don't know. One of the things that happened in Nicaragua, the CIA guys operating there would thrill and get excited on their speeches there. And, even in the worst of times, when the Sandinista movement,
It was all good when Pablo was alive.
in their little motorboats,
Had a lot of cocaine running through Nicaragua.
and shoot sachets into the beaches and have a contest to see, I shouldn't say no, they would just shoot and know they were casualties. They would just do that and have a lot of fun talking about it and bragging about it. I mean, that's the kind of stuff you get to do when you have a covert operation. And so,
Pure coke. Fun the war. All the guns. Whatever you get, send them over here.
Was in the operation. It also had a compression chamber that had been flown in by the CIA. Now I'm getting the detail right on about it. The CIA flew in a compression chamber that's been put on the ship because it's just a submarine hunter. And the diver is at 260 feet. That's the level. The Norwegians found the lowest level, the shallowest part of the Baltic Sea, which is off an island called West between Sweden and Denmark. And they practiced there. They had to. And for the divers, it was 260 feet deep where the landmines were. And the pipelines are steel covered, but they're also covered by concrete shields. So it's a serious job to blow them up. And at 260, without a compression chamber, they have to go up every 90 feet. They're breathing, it's amazing to me. They're breathing oxygen, nitrogen, and helium. That's pretty amazing to me. And they have to go up now they could just pop up to the it was called the Alta. The ship was there. I mean, that's just such a stupid lie. But the submarine, it's a submarine hunter. They didn't have to stay there. They could just go and the guys could jump off. And there was no long recovery. At a certain time, they would come up. And the time was fixed. You don't drop explosives like that and then let them go off in 5 minutes. You give a lot of time, give a timer on it so that the divers could get up to the top. And they come up and they make a pickup because they happen much more quickly than you think. Because it's not in the description of the ship, but on that ship there was a decompression chamber. It had been flown in the plane. You want to know from the point of view of a classic operation, because they got away with it. And at that point, the purpose was always, let me go back to this, the purpose of doing it is to make the threat credible. But then you have the president and the undersecretary saying,
another day, another dollar.
The two of getting a word that is credible. We can do it. So I'm bragging about it. That was just
I bet.
Fuck this shit. Fuck this.
You couldn't say it's not true, I invented it, but that's just, he's gonna hang it.
Of 38 million inhabitants is often described as chaotic and bewildering. The city indeed appears to be a complex web of ultra-modern buildings and small tiny houses assembled together like pieces of Lego with no apparent consistency. Twice destroyed in 1923 after a terrible earthquake.
How y'all doing? Push that like button.
The American bombardments. Tokyo has risen from its ashes each time, and since then seems to be perpetually reinventing itself in order to satisfy its insatiable need for expansion.
How y'all doing? Push that like button. Show me some love. Whew. Where you coming from?
It depends on the car. You know what I'm saying? Like if you come in there with a Bentley, it's a different price than if you come in there with an Acura or if you come in there with, you know what I'm saying?